Goes, and our intention now goes to, or turns to Dr. Michael Mosley. Good morning, Dr. Michael.
Good morning. Hi, Chris.
How are you today?
Very good. Very sugar-free.
Okay, so we're both 7 days into our sugar-free Feb, and your book, The 8-Week Blood Sugar Diet, shot to number one after your appearance on the show last week. It's not terrible for business, this show, is it?
It's very good, but it works really well. And the reason I wrote it is because I discovered I was type 2 diabetic. I wanted to tell the world you can reverse it. If you cut your sugar, you can actually, reverse your blood sugar diet, your blood sugar levels.
All right, so you're on day 7. What kind of effects have you noticed? Have you registered as like you do? Because you note things down. I don't, but you do. So what have you discovered?
I do. I've measured everything. So far, I have resisted trial by chocolate, biscuit, and cake. My friends have been taunting me a bit, but it's been fine. So what I've noticed is I've lost a few pounds without trying. My blood pressure has gone down. My fasting glucose, which is my blood sugar levels first thing in the morning, have gone down, which is really good. They were kind of moderate, but they're getting towards excellent at the moment. And my trousers are looser.
Now, that's all good, and that's going to make you feel good because you know that they're all facts. Had you not measured anything, how do you actually feel?
I feel perky, as in I thought that I would feel really grumpy, because I've never done it before. I've sort of, cut down on my sugars, but I've never really even gone a week without chocolate before. So I thought I would have massive cravings, but I haven't. They've actually been entirely fine. I mean, there were moments when I felt like reaching for that cake, but actually they passed very swiftly.
Now, we gave up booze in January. It was sugar-free in February. And I have to say, after 7 days of no sugar, the effect and the change that I've noticed, and my whole, like you say, my whole mood, my whole demeanour, my spirit is 1,000 times more different than the effect that giving up alcohol had on me.
Same here. I must admit, I was surprised. I assumed the alcohol would have more effect, but the sugar-free has been actually much more significant.
All right, are you ready for some questions from the listeners?
I am.
We have had hundreds. Hey, Chris, says Claire Kavanagh, I've been sugar-free for a week now and haven't had a crash. Should I be expecting one?
No. Brilliant. Well done. I mean, if it's going to happen, it'll happen in the first few days.
All right. Now, why does the crash happen, and how does it feel? How do you know you're having one? And is that like the clouds breaking and the sunshine finally bursting through?
No, crash is much more about sort of longings, and I mean there is the crash you experience where you have sugar, your blood sugars shoot up, they then crash down, and then you feel hungry and tired and irritable. It's a bit like that, but it's not in response to some immediate sugar. It's a more long-term thing, and in a way, it's your body basically fighting back. Your body's going, give me that stuff. I've got used to it. I mean, one of the theories now is that there are these bacteria in your gut called the microbiome, and what you've been doing is you've been feeding the bad ones with the sugar, and when you take the sugar away, they are fighting for survival down your gut. They're sending messages to your brain going, feed me, and you're slowly killing them off. And when you've killed them all off, then basically the cravings will go. That's one theory.
All right, now we've been diving into soups and stews at home to sort of get around things that have sugar in them. What about cheese, says JJ? I've just checked my cheese and it says there's 1% sugar in it.
Yeah, that's really tiny. I mean, that comes from the lactose. So you would have to eat about a kilo of cheese. That would add up to, say, 10 grams. That would be the equivalent of eating a bowl of cereal. So it's a tiny, tiny amount, and because there's fat in the cheese, it will bind the sugar anyway, so you're not going to get a spike. So it's utterly trivial and completely unimportant.
All right, good news. Chris, I heard that a green salad with no dressing still has sugar in it. Is that true? And is there a good no-sugar dressing, says Rebecca in Dorset?
The main thing is to make the vinaigrette yourself, because a lot of the commercial ones do have sugar in them. But if you do a classic vinaigrette, I've got a vinaigrette in the book, there are lots of them out there. You can absolutely choose one which is sugar-free, and you get the flavours from the herbs you add, from the mustard, from things like that. You don't need sugar in a vinaigrette.
So have you become a reluctant, enthusiastic chef then, because you've had to do this book?
I have, yes. But you have to start looking at these things, and you have to kind of cook. My wife is absolutely thrilled because I've started cooking all sorts of strange and interesting and different things.
Okay, we made hummus for the first time ever. I can't believe we've never made hummus before. We made pesto loads of times before. We made some hummus last week, and it was as good, if not better, than any we've ever bought from anywhere.
Absolutely. I've actually I made kefir for the first time ever, which is really easy. It's a kind of yogurt on steroids, and it tastes fantastic. It is really, really simple to make. So there you go, new foods.
Yogurt on steroids. I love that. Right, Colin says, like you and many others, there's lots of lycra around at the moment. Lots of people training for marathons. Lots of people doing their first long runs, which do require energy gels because of hypoglycemia. They're full of sugar. What can we replace them with?
Yeah, it's really tough. The thing is, if you are doing lots of exercise, then the sugar isn't actually going to be a problem, because when you do something like a marathon, what happens, you start by burning fat, then you burn your sugar reserves, and then you hit the wall, so you actually do need some sugar to kind of pump you up. The stuff you get in those gels is called maltodextrin, which is not actually sugar, it's a type of starch. I have spoken to runners, and they say it's very difficult, particularly if you're doing a long run. Anything over 10K. Anything less than 10K, you probably don't need anything. More than 10K, you could try bananas, you could try apricots, you could try dried mango, things like that.
All right, okay, perfect. We've got loads more questions, but we're running out of time. I want to know, how's your article going for the newspaper? Because this is all going to culminate in some fantastic article, isn't it?
Absolutely, yep. No, so it's all going really well. And as I said, I'm keeping lots of data on it as well. And I'm chatting to a lot of friends about it. And they're feeding back. I've actually recruited a few more people to join you. I think it's a fantastic campaign, really fantastic.
I think I'm going to stick with it, Michael, afterwards.
You should. I think it could be one of those things like Grow in January.
All right.
Got to get out there.
Trust me, I'm a doctor tomorrow, 8 p.m. BBC 2. That's Michael. This book, The 8-Week Blood Sugar Diet, will be back to the top of the charts in about a minute, I would imagine. Now, you've also sent me another meal. What have I got here in front of me?
You have a go. One of them is a sort of spicy bean burger lunch thing. Mm-hmm. Are you tapping into that?
Yeah, hang on a second. Ooh, very nice.
Good. And these are all kind of designed, if you like, so that they'll keep you full. There's quite a lot of fibre in there. There's obviously no sugar in there. But the main thing is lots of taste, lots of flavour, reasonable amounts of protein, basically see you through that sort of afternoon period when you might feel like reaching for the muffin.
All right. Talk to you next week. Is that okay?
That'd be great.
Perfect. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Michael Mosley.